Chapter 1. The bet I was never supposed to hear a booty never meant to hear it. I was just trying to return the catcher in the rye to the library before the bell rang. I liked going there when the hallways were empty. No one bumping into me. No fake hellos. No whispers behind my back. But that day, the door was slightly open, and I froze when I heard my name. Liam Carter. Savannah Blake said, laughing. I almost dropped the bookie, Savannah. The girl who could make the whole cafeteria go silent with one toss of her honey blonde hair. The girl everyone either wanted to date or be. The girl who never even looked in my direction. Why was she talking about me? I stepped back, but not far enough to stop listening. I give it 3 months, she said. Max, please. Another voice scoffed. Jason Miller. Of course. Bet you can do it in 3 weeks. Savannah said, like it was nothing. He'll fall for me in 3 weeks. There was laughter. Brooke Taylor's, I think, light and sharp, like glass. You're evil. Someone giggled. He's sweet, Savannah added, but the way she said it made my stomach twist. Too sweet. It'll be fun. I didn't hear what came after that. I was already walking away. My hands were shaking. I had no idea why. I mean, it was just a joke, right? I wasn't even sure they were serious. But her voice, the way she said my name, it burned. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing it. 3 weeks. 3 weeks to what? To fake liking me. To humiliate me. To break me? I wasn't even on their radar last week. I was the quiet kid who sat near the window and wrote poems in the margins of math worksheets. Why? Me, and then I remembered something my brother Dylan once said. When they play games, don't get mad, get smarter. So I decided, let her play. I'll play, too, but not the way she expects. The next day, she smiled at me, right outside homeroom, like we were old friends. Hey, Liam. I blinked. Hey. I said back, calm, like I hadn't heard anything. Her smile widened. You're an AP Lit, right, Mr. Bennett? I nodded. She tucked her hair behind her ear. Cool. Maybe we could study together sometime. She sounded casual. Sweet, too sweet, sure, I said, then turned and walked into the room without looking back. Behind me, I could feel her surprise like heat on the back of my neck. At lunch, Ryan Cooper plopped down next to me with his usual tray full of fries and chaos. You okay? He asked, mouthful. I'm fine. You look like someone laced your cereal with broken promises. I laughed a little. Then he looked up. Why is Savannah Blake staring at us like you're a bag of gold? She's not. She totally is. I shrugged. Emma Hayes glanced over from the far end of the table. We used to talk more, but life had drifted us apart. Still, her eyes met mine for a second, and I saw it. Warning. Be careful. But I wasn't scared, not anymore. That afternoon, Savannah passed me a note in class. Hey, are you free after school? I could use help with the Macbeth essay. He folded the paper, smiled, and tucked it into my notebook without replying. Let her wonder. Let her wait. Let her start to doubt. Because if she thought I was going to fall for her in 3 weeks, she had no idea who she was really playing with. Chapter 2. Smiles that lead the first time she touched my arm. I felt nothing. No butterflies. No spark. No freeze-frame movie moment. Just skin on skin. Light, intentional, practiced. Savannah Blake knew exactly what she was doing. And now. So did I. Thanks again for walking with me, she said, smiling up at me as we stepped out into the fall sunlight. It's nice having someone who actually listens. I gave a quiet nod. Yeah, that's it. Just because the truth is, I was listening, just not in the way she thought. I was watching, collecting data like I was studying for an exam on human manipulation. Her expressions, her timing, the way she lowered her voice like she was confessing something. I used to think people like us didn't fit in, she murmured. As we passed the empty music room. I almost laughed. People like us. Savannah Blake had friends, followers, birthday banners strung across hallways. I had a notebook full of half-written lyrics and a broken umbrella I kept forgetting to throw away. Still, I let her talk, because every word she dropped was another piece I could use later. In the cafeteria, her chair was suddenly next to mine. She nudged Ryan out of the way with a giggle and plopped her tray beside mine. Double quotes, hey, Liam. Ryan raised a brow. Since when do you sit here? Savannah grinned. Since today. Ryan looked at me. I gave a tiny shrug. Okay then, Ryan said, pushing his chair over. Just don't steal his fries. That's a death sentence. She laughed like he'd just told the best joke ever. But I saw her eyes shift sideways. Just for a second, like she was checking if I noticed how good she was at this. I noticed that I always noticed that after lunch. Emma caught up to me near the lockers. Liam, she said quietly, like she didn't want anyone else to hear. What's going on with her? I looked at her. With who? You know who. I paused, then said, maybe she's bored. Emma's face twisted. She's dangerous. She's popular. She's not kind, Emma said, biting the inside of her cheek. There's a difference. I looked at her for a second too long. You're not going to fall for her, right? My smile was small, unreadable. What if I already did? Her mouth opened, closed, then she just shook her head and walked away. By the end of the week, I was a name on everyone's lips. Savannah. And Liam. Is it real? Are they dating? I kept hearing whispers behind my back and her laugh echoing in the halls. It was like we were the main characters in a play I never auditioned for. But in this version, I knew the ending, and it wouldn't be the one she expected. Saturday evening, I got a text. Savannah, hey, want to call for a bit? I stared at it, then waited 20 minutes before replying. Me. Sure. She called in seconds. Hey, you, she said, her voice soft like static and honey. I leaned back on my bed and kept my tone steady. Hey, we talked about nothing. Movies, teachers, dumb hallway drama. She laughed a lot. I didn't. I kept the silence heavy. Let her fill it. People reveal themselves when you let them speak into the void. When she said good night, her voice cracked just a little. Sleep well, Liam. You too, Savannah. But sleep wasn't the plan. Not yet. Chapter 3. Her game. My rules be Monday morning. She had her nails painted the same shade as her phone case. Pale lavender. Matching. Intentional. Everything about her was intentional. Except me. She couldn't read me. And that's what was driving her crazy. Savannah walked up during homeroom like we were already dating. Hey, she whispered, leaning close enough for her perfume to sink into my hoodie. Miss me this weekend? I looked at her for half a second and said, should I have? That threw her. Only for a second. But it was there. A flicker in her eyes. A question she wasn't used to being asked. She smiled it off. You're cute. I smiled back. But in my head, I was marking the moment. That was the first real crack in her armor. At lunch, she pulled out a blueberry muffin and split it in two. Half for you, she said. Unless you're scared I laced it with poison. I've had worse, I replied, taking it. Ryan coughed on his drink. Okay then. She laughed like we were the couple everyone already assumed we were. And I played my part. I chewed slowly, met her eyes, held the stare for 1 second too long. Her fingers twitched near her tray. Control. She didn't have it anymore. And she knew it. After class, I found Emma leaning against my locker. You're scaring people now, she said. I blinked. Why? Because you're winning. Winning what? You know what? She snapped. This isn't like you, I shrugged. Maybe you don't know me as well as you think. That hurt her. I saw it. I hated that I saw it. But I didn't take it back. Because right now, I needed distance. I couldn't afford softness. Not yet. That evening, I called her first. She picked up fast, like she'd been waiting. Hey, she said, too excited. I was just thinking about you. Why? Because I like you. It wasn't a question. It was bait, and I took a deep breath before answering. I like you too, I said, softly, carefully. I heard her inhale, like I'd given her what she wanted. But I hadn't, because I didn't say how I liked her, and I never would. The next few days, I leaned in. Texts, calls, smiles across the hallway. I was exactly what she thought she wanted. Sweet, quiet, easy to. Then but inside, I was already 3 steps ahead. I'd started collecting screenshots, notes, every message, every whispered joke with Jason that she thought I couldn't hear. Every time Brooke looked nervous and looked away. This wasn't paranoia, this was proof. And when the time came, I'd lay it all out like a mirror, let her see herself, the real her. On Friday, she leaned in close while we waited outside for Jim. Have you ever had your heart broken, Liam? I looked at her. White, she bit her lip like she hadn't expected that answer. Just wondering. I smiled, then said, ask me again in 3 weeks. She blinked. What? I shook my head. Nothing. And walked into the gym with my hands in my pockets and my heart calm. Because I wasn't falling for her. I was counting down. Chapter 4. The confession that was never true. She told me she liked me behind the art building. It was quiet, just the two of us. Orange leaves scattered at our feet. The sky above was cold and pale. One of those afternoons that felt more like a question than a moment as Savannah stepped closer. To close, I like you, Liam, she said, voice low, soft, almost real. I stared at her, not because I was surprised, but because she wasn't supposed to say it yet. This was ahead of schedule. I gave her nothing, not a smile, not a flinch, just silence. She looked confused. Her eyes scanned my face like she was reading the wrong script. Did you hear me? I did. And I looked away and laughed. Not loud, not mean, just enough. I used to like you. Her face froze. What? I used to, I repeated. Before I knew it was a game. Her eyes widened, and in that split second, I saw it. Fear, not guilt, not regret. Fear. Because she didn't expect me to know. Because I wasn't supposed to turn the board on her. But I already had. She tried to brush it off. Oh my God, she said, half laughing. You're such a dork. I know what you said. I told her. In the library. 3 weeks, right? Her smile vanished. And suddenly she wasn't the glowing goddess from the hallway anymore. She was just a girl who got caught playing with the wrong person. Who told you? No one had to. She opened her mouth, closed it. Then finally whispered. It wasn't serious. It started as a joke. But, I didn't think you'd actually fall for it. I asked. She blinked. No. I said. I didn't. That weekend, the group chat must have lit up like a Christmas tree. On Monday, Jason wouldn't meet my eyes. Brooke barely showed up to school. And Savannah. She sat to rows behind me in English class, silent. No more smirks, no more laughter. Just her, chewing the end of her pen like it might hold a different ending. Mr. Bennett asked a question about betrayal in Macbeth. I raised my hand. It's not the knife that does the damage, I said. It's the trust before it. He nodded, slowly. And somewhere behind me, I swear I heard her breath catch. Chapter 5. The shift no one noticed but me. People always think change is loud. But real change, the kind that twists beneath your ribs and rearranges how you look at the world, the kind is quiet. Savannah didn't talk to me that week. Not once. She still walked the halls like she owned them. But something was missing. Her rhythm, her glow, like someone turned the brightness down just enough for only I could notice. Jason kept trying to talk to her, but she brushed him off now. She didn't laugh at his jokes. She barely looked at him. It was like the game had ended, and she didn't know what to do without the scoreboard. And me, I went back to my usual seat, same window, same backpack, same quiet. But now, eyes followed me, not because I changed, but because I hadn't reacted the way they expected. I didn't cry. I didn't chase her. I didn't break. And that messed with them. Ryan slapped my shoulder one afternoon. Dude, you're a legend. I didn't answer. He leaned closer. You know she's acting weird, right? Like softer. I swear she smiled at the janitor yesterday. Maybe she's tired, I said. Or maybe you broke the queen. I didn't like the way that sounded. But I didn't correct him. In chemistry. Savannah dropped her pencil near my foot. I picked it up and set it on her desk without saying anything. Thanks. She whispered. I nodded. When class ended, she stayed seated. I walked out without looking back. By Thursday, Brooke caught me in the hallway. She looked tired, hair up in a messy ponytail. Her mascara smudged. Liam, she said, can we talk? I paused. Look, I didn't mean for it to go that far, she said quickly. It started as a joke, just a stupid dare. Savannah's been under a lot of pressure lately, and she made the bet. I said, I know. Brooke nodded. But I think she's actually changed. I tilted my head. In a week, she swallowed hard. And 3. Emma sat next to me in the courtyard that Friday. Neither of us said anything for a while. Then she sighed. So, this is who you are now. I don't know. I said honestly. Is that a bad thing? No. She said, just cold. That hit harder than I expected. Because it wasn't untrue. Later that night, Savannah texted me for the first time since the confession. Savannah, can we talk? I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed, me, about what? Savannah, us. I didn't reply, because there was no us. And deep down I think she already knew that. Chapter 6. The fire behind my call me didn't delete her message. I read it 3 times, but I didn't reply. Instead, I turned off my phone and sat in the dark with just the ceiling fan humming above me. My room was cold. My thoughts were colder. People said I looked calm now, but inside, I was burning. Not because she tried to play me, not because they laughed about it, not even because she almost pulled it off. What burned was how easy it had been. How easily they thought I could be broken. Like I didn't have my own sharp edges. Like I wasn't watching them the whole time. Saturday afternoon, I passed by the bookstore downtown. There was a poetry reading happening outside. Small crowd, soft clapping, someone strumming a guitar. I stood at the edge of the sidewalk and listened. One of the readers was a girl about our age, reading something about betrayal and silence. Every word felt like a mirror. When she finished, I clapped once and then walked away. Sometimes you don't need to say anything. You just let the world speak for you. Back at school, things shifted again. Jason got into a fight with another guy. In the parking lot, Brooke stopped showing up to lunch. And Savannah. She was quieter. She still wore her perfect outfits and smiled at teachers and showed up early to class. But her light was different now. Smaller, dimmer, like someone turned the volume down on her personality. I watched her one day during a fire drill. She stood on the grass with her arms crossed, staring at nothing. When she noticed me looking, she didn't smile. She just nodded once, like an apology or a surrender. Mr. Bennett handed me back my essay with a note scribbled in red. There's something powerful in the way you write, people. Keep going. I stared at the sentence for a while. People used to ignore me. Now they were reading me. And suddenly, I realized something. Maybe that was my revenge. Not ruining her, not exposing her. Just surviving her and becoming someone she could never touch again. That night, I pulled out an old notebook and started writing again. Not about her, about me. What I saw, what I learned, what I felt when someone smiled with poison behind their teeth. The fire inside me wasn't rage anymore. It was fuel. Chapter 7. Her apology came too late. It was raining when she finally spoke to me again. Not over text, not a note, not through someone else. Face to face. I was sitting under the awning near the back stairs, watching the drops hit the concrete like a slow drumbeat. It was quiet, peaceful. Then I heard her footsteps, and I knew. Liam, Savannah said, her voice soft, almost drowned by the rain. I didn't look up. Not yet. I need to say something. I stayed silent. I was wrong. She continued. About the bet. About everything, still. I didn't move. You didn't deserve that. No one does. Her voice cracked a little. I thought it would be easy. Just another joke. But it wasn't. You weren't. I turned my head slowly. Her makeup was light today. No fake smile. No filters. Just her, nervous, maybe even real. And maybe that was the worst part. Because for a second, I saw the person she could have been if she hadn't chosen to be someone else. I'm sorry, she said. I nodded. Okay. I said, okay. She blinked. That's all I have. I said. I accept her apology. She waited, like she expected more. Forgiveness, a hug, some grand reset. But that's not what I was here for. And she knew it. I liked you, she whispered. I know. I said, that's what scared you, right? She looked down, and there it was, the truth neither of us wanted to say. She was never supposed to care, but she did, and I was never supposed to win. But I did. She left after that, didn't cry, didn't scream, just walked away in the rain, quiet and slow, like someone whose story had ended one chapter too early. And I let her go, because closure doesn't always need a big goodbye. Sometimes it's just silence. And Ryan asked me later the day, so what now? I shrugged. Now. I live. He laughed. That's deep. Not really. The night, I got a message from Emma. Just one line. Emma. Proud of you. I stared at it for a long time. Then typed. Me. Thanks for not giving up on me. Because through everything, the lies, the play, the fallout, she never once stopped believing I was more than what they tried to make me. And that mattered. More than I'd ever said. Out loud. Chapter 8. I didn't win her back. I won myself. The hallway felt different now. Not because the people changed. They still laughed too loud. Bumped into lockers. Whispered rumors they thought were secrets. But I changed. I didn't walk with my head down anymore. I didn't avoid mirrors. I didn't shrink when I heard my name from across the room. I didn't need anyone to say I'd won. Because I already knew. This wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about making her cry or feel small or sorry. It was about walking out of a story I never agreed to be in and writing my own. Emma and I started talking more, not like before, when everything was careful and quiet. This time, we talked like people who had been through something and chose to grow from it. You still writing? She asked one day, sitting beside me in the library. Every night, she smiled. Good. You're too good to stay silent. I nodded. Maybe for the first time. I believe that to Savannah kept her distance after that. She still existed, in class, at games, in group photos. But she never tried to play me again, and I never tried to fix her. Some people are meant to be lessons, not legacies. On the last day of the semester, I opened my notebook to the first page, and I wrote, she bet 3 months to break me. I gave her 3 weeks to learn she couldn't. The story wasn't about her anymore. It was about me. About how I didn't break. About how I rose. About how I stopped needing someone else to tell me I mattered. So if you ever find yourself in the middle of someone else's game, plan to turn your heart into a trophy. Remember this. You don't have to play their way. You don't have to be the quiet one who takes the hit. You can step out of the story. You can write your own.